Hello, my name is Mike Buchanan, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the legendary Paul Elam.
So nice to be introduced.
Paul, I'm hugely looking forward to a trip to Roanoke in Virginia for the Jamboree in October. I wonder if you could just perhaps start off, well, we'll come to that in a moment, but I wonder if you could just give us an update and a general overview on XY Crew.
Sure, be happy to do that. Mike, we started XY Crew really unofficially 4 years ago. Back when I was still allowed on Patreon. I was recently banned from there. But when I was still on Patreon, we started doing a group meeting on Saturdays 4 years ago. Just for my patrons. We didn't invest a whole lot in it. We just thought it would be good now that we have the technology to get groups of red pill men together online for real live discussions. And we noticed a couple of things that were hard to miss. There were no flame wars. If you ever been on some of them, I'm not pointing the finger at MGTOWs about this at all, but if you look at some of their community forums, some of the red pill forums, even MRA forums, people get into petty squabbles, and before you know it, the whole house is burned down around everybody. What we noticed, though, was that when men were meeting face to face, even on camera, when there wasn't the anonymity afforded by a screen name or otherwise the anonymity that the internet gives you, that our behavior toward each other was very different in that environment, much more supportive, much more open. And it has grown since then. We developed it eventually into XY Crew. Now we're having meetings 7 days a week. We have goal setting groups. We have a men's media group where men are learning photography. I conduct a family of origin group where men tell their family stories. Often that leads them to talk about the stories of their marriages and relationships, because the rules that we carry from the family of origin often influence those things. But to put a long story short, we've turned into a fairly robust community of men who are working on self-improvement, who are supporting each other in that effort. And it has grown much more than I ever expected it to. And we expect more. And this meeting coming up in Virginia in October of this year, from the 5th to the 10th, our first Jamboree, is a result of that. We're expecting anywhere from 25 to maybe 45 guys in total to be there for 5 days of fun and relaxation and activity and sort of red pill unity, if there is such a thing. Oh yeah, and lots of beer.
And it's priced at the crazy low price, Paul, to my mind, of $25.
Well, yeah, basically, let me sort of explain how the financial model of this works, and I'll go through all the details. This is not a paid event. The $25, we've rented a house, a big 3,000 square foot house with many beds. And for those who want to stay there, other people will be staying in other places. But the $25 registration fee is simply to buy coffee and maybe some breakfast pastries and things like that. As the house will be our meeting place in the mornings to start our days, we want to have a coffee service there and all that. So the $25 is for that. We're not charging anything for the event itself. This is a pay your own way, bring your own everything. You'll be responsible for your own lodging. Now, as I said, we have rented a house for the duration of the event. For those who want to stay in that home, the cost to you will be $50 a night or $250 for the entire stay, which is about less than half the price of a decent hotel in this area. It's a really good deal, and there's a separate payment for that. By the way, guys, there's links below to all this. You'll be able to get all the information. But those are the only costs associated. We'll be doing activities, and if you want to do those activities, some of them require small fees. You'll be required to pay your own as you go. But that's pretty much the setup. It's a pay your own way event. We don't want to make money on this. We just want to get together and have a lot of fun in ways that only red pill guys can do.
And I wonder if you could just say a few words about where it is, Paul.
Yes, it is in Roanoke, Virginia, actually in Goodview, Virginia, on the shores of a lake is where the house is. That's going to be our meeting area, but this is in the Roanoke area. And all the activities we're going to be doing are in Southwest Virginia. And let's see, what else were you asking?
Well, I guess the activities, Paul, if you can give us a flavor of those.
Well, they're not all created yet. We do have some that are written in stone. We're going to be doing some hikes. There's one 3.5 mile hike. There's also a 9 mile hike for the braver and possibly younger members.
No, I think that's going to be just you, Paul.
You'll like it. You will march and you will like it. We're also going to go to a firing range and shoot weapons of war. For those interested, the way that will work, there will be a range fee that individuals will have to pay their own way. I think it's like $20 or something like that for the time you spend shooting. And targets come with that. But for those who don't want to go through the expense or hassle of bringing their own guns or renting a gun while we're at the range, I will have my own guns that are available. Just to run through them real quickly, there'll be a 380 auto available, a Glock 43X 9mm, a Ruger 1911 model 45 ACP, my favorite weapon. And next, finally, of course, we must have a weapon of war, an AR-15. You would be responsible to bring your own ammunition for the shooting or to buy it at the range. I suggest that guys bring their own ammunition with them because the range will charge a markup that's substantial and ammo is expensive these days. But we'll have that going on. There will be mountain biking available for those who want it. There is kayaking, canoeing, fishing, all kinds of outdoor activities. We're trying to strike a balance in this, Mike, between structured, planned activities and free time. I would like to see this have about 25% of the time be structured and 75% of the time be free. There's going to be nightlife. I'm still waiting for the concert schedules to come out because one of the things I want to do, we have great venues. This is a wonderful place for music. Southwest Virginia's, it's hillbilly country, it's bluegrass country. And we will find a great class act and go to as a group to see some genuine bluegrass music while during the event. I'm real excited about that.
And there's, am I right in thinking there's a beer? I'm not quite sure what you'd call it.
Lots of beer. There is several microbreweries in the area. We'll be doing a pub crawl during the, well, it'll be the Southwest Virginia version of a pub crawl. That ought to be interesting.
Right. And I should have said earlier on, one of, I think the only stipulation, well, there's a couple of stipulations, Paul, for people who want to come. The first one is that you need to be a member of XY Crew.
Yes.
And that doesn't come cheap at $5 a month.
Yes, it is rather pricey. And all you get is 7 days a week of facilitated groups and a 24/7 cyber shed and the support of a really wonderful red pill community. And I know $5 is a lot for that, but guys, you're going to have to cough it up. But on a more serious note, I suggest if people are interested in attending this, you do have to be a member. And I suggest you not only join at the $5 a month, or if you want to support our efforts, which we really appreciate, there are enhanced memberships that sponsor other people coming in. But if you want to join and you want to attend the event, I strongly suggest coming to some of the groups because this is a community of men that know each other at this point. We're all very familiar with each other. And the last thing I would want anybody to do is to show up and be the stranger in the crowd. I think they'll be a lot more comfortable if they just attend a few groups and get to know guys. And you might discover some very powerful work going on in those groups because there is.
Okay, and I believe the other stipulation is that at birth you must have been a person of penis.
Yes, you have to be a person of penis. We exclude women on the basis of sex. Is not to put too fine a point on it, but this is a men-only event. And by men, I mean those with the XY chromosome. Not if you identify as a man, or you wish you were a man, or you believe you were born a man in a woman's body, or whatever, none of that. And we've got nothing against trans community. Have fun, have your own events, but this is for men, born men.
Yeah. Okay. Now, activities include, well, apart from, you mentioned the nightlife, but there's a few of us, Paul, you and myself included, who are great lovers of cigars.
And it just so happens that even in a community as small as Roanoke and metropolitan area is about 300,000 people. It's not what you would call a crowded place, but we happen to have a very nice tobacconist in downtown Roanoke, and we will be planning a trip early in the event for everybody to get their cigars. Our European members who choose to come and bringing their own Cubanos are most welcome. And I will provide my mailing address to those who want to send me Cubanos in advance of the event.
Right, but is it still the case that you can't buy Cuban cigars in the States? I don't quite know. It is, okay.
It's the most mindless boycott I've ever seen. But yes, but while there are not Cubanos, there are very good cigars from other places in the world, and we have them at a great tobacconist here in town.
Okay. Look forward to that. I remember at the Chicago ICMI, International Conference on Men's Issues, there was a very thriving cigar club there, and
yes, there was.
A lot of us were sort of were coughing by the end of the thing. We really smoked a lot.
I didn't think it was possible, but by the end of ICMI 19, I was tired of smoking cigars.
I know it was a great part of it. There's a registration deadline, Paul. I wonder if you could just mention that.
Sure. I think we agreed that was going to be September 1st. There's again, the $25 registration, which is required of everybody, regardless of where you stay. If you're attending the event, the $25 registration fee is mandatory. If you're staying in the house, it's $250. And the deadline on those payments is September 1.
Okay.
The house is big enough to sleep 14 or 15 people. There's still a few slots left there for those that want it. But if you don't want the house, that's fine. There's tons of lodging in the area. Some guys are even getting campsites at Explore Park here in town. In other ways, they really made their stay very cheap by going to $25 a night for the campsites.
Indeed.
So you've got a lot of options there.
Okay, well, it's going to be a fantastic event. I'm hoping a few Brits, as well as myself, will come over. And of course, there's no International Conference on Men's Issues either in person or online this year. So it's the go-to event as far as I'm concerned this year.
Absolutely right. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, I'm glad we have this in the absence of an ICMI again.
Okay. Anything else, Paul, that you can think of as far as the Jamboree is concerned?
No, well, I really just, while we have people's attention, I just want to stress one more time, there's really incredible work going on at XY Crew. We are seeing men come in there. We have discussions about being the nice guy and a ton of other things, and guys are starting to change their lives. They get support for being red pill instead of condemnation. And it's amazing what we start to see happen in that environment. The family of origin work that's going on is absolutely amazing. Hearing these men tell their stories, usually for the first time, they've been able to tell anybody who cared about what their story was. And it's healing in that respect. And then we have a couple of groups that are focused on goal setting and self-improvement. So whether you're working out, whether you're trying to improve your educational or employment game, this is a good place to go, and we see it working for people. And again, $5 a month for all the support you can handle, I think is a pretty good deal.
And I believe that there are 1 or 2 meetings a week that, unfortunately, they're not a very good time for me. Otherwise, I'd attend them. But there's a trans man by the name of Janice Fiamengo, who I believe chairs a couple of them.
Yes, there is that one exception. You talk about a man trapped in a woman's body. That's Janice in a nutshell.
And with great hair.
But even Janice will not be attending the Jamboree, though she does facilitate a group there on Thursday nights that the guys rave about. I've never been in it, but apparently they enjoy it a lot. All the other groups are facilitated by XY kind of guys.
Okay, and we shouldn't let this finish, Paul, without a mention of the Cyber Shed.
Look, the Cyber Shed is a place where if you're having a bad time at 2 o'clock in the morning, because sometimes, problems don't wait until 1 in the afternoon in order to want to pay attention to them. We have a Cyber Shed. It's a Zoom room that's open 24/7. Sometimes you'll go in there and there'll be nobody there. Just leave the window open. Somebody will be in, and then they end up having large groups, robust conversations. Again, another part of the environment, but it's available 24/7 to members, and it's an important tool to have.
And I heard so many stories there of, I mean, you've had suicidal guys call, and by the time they leave the shed, they're no longer suicidal. I mean, it's a fantastic resource. It really is.
It is, and it's really badly needed. I mean, of course, things don't work on need. Unfortunately, they work on want. I mean, if this was based totally on need, we'd have 10 million members. But it is for those men who want to take advantage of it. And I invite them to do that, not only in the Cyber Shed, but in the facilitated groups and in the activities that we plan. A lot of these guys are ending up in friendships in real world terms. The community is getting more and more connected as we go, and we're seeing that transpire. I would love to see more guys from Europe. I think we've got a few coming. We have one attendee planning from Germany, another from the Philippines, another from Switzerland. There will be people there from all over the world, and everybody is welcome to this, but you have to be a member to attend.
Indeed. And I'll just make a quick plug, if I may, Paul, for the photography and videography group, which is every Wednesday, 7 p.m. British summertime at the moment, run by Tom Caulfield, who's videoed and edited all the ICMI presentations since 2016. The man is an absolute workhorse.
He is very gifted at what he does. I've seen some of the photographs you've taken, the macro shots that you've taken since attending that class, and I'm just totally impressed by it. I haven't been able to attend, my schedule's too tight,
Sure,
but I hear great things about that group.
It's just the best. I wouldn't miss it for the world. And we learn a lot, but I mean, half of the meeting, we're in stitches laughing. It is just, it's the best thing. If I might just end then with another plug, Paul,
Sure.
For my next in-person international conference on men's issues. I was recently in Budapest, the capital of Hungary, one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, and I'd say the world, actually. It really is an extraordinarily beautiful city. I booked the next ICMI for August 2024 over a weekend. The speakers will include your good self, for which thank you very much, of course. Janice Fiamengo, Stephen Baskerville, the American politics professor and author who lives in Eastern Europe, and is an advisor to the political party I lead, and 2 well-known British MPs who I'm looking forward to revealing. It's going to be a great event. And I know people will love the city as well. These things are just monumental. It's not so, I mean, it's never, I think you'll agree, Paul, so much about the speeches, because you can watch those on YouTube later. It's being in an environment, in a red pill environment for a couple of days. It is good. It's balm for the soul, quite frankly.
The speeches are really at ICMIs. They're a place so that you can put your butt down and have a rest for an hour between having fun. Seriously,
Yeah, that's quite right.
If you've ever been to one, you know that. That's exactly what they're like. And I'm excited about this one. Just interestingly enough, I was planning a trip to Budapest when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And ruined the plan. So when you told me that the next one was going to be hosted in Budapest, I'm like, man, if I'm not dead, I'll be there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. I'm sure of it. And I also have no doubt that tickets will sell out, as they usually do at ICMIs. Anyway, I'll be releasing more details next year, and tickets probably go on sale early 2024. And I think that's it, Paul. thank you very much for this, and I really look forward to meeting you and others in Virginia in a few months' time.
The feeling is mutual. Guys, links below. If you're interested in all this, there's going to be more details. You can read about it. We would love to have you there.
Thank you, Paul. And it's a wrap.
It is a wrap. Take care.